number 001.
Diabetic. Alcoholic diabetic.
I've been every week.
Wow. What we did? Yeah. I got a tip. That works for him. No. So he kind of deals with he community. Don't recall that conversation.
How are you, sir? Good.
Casey's putting the sign-up sheet. On the banners there. Before the meeting starts.
You want to come over here and sit by me? We can have, look at my hat.
Do the battle with that.
Oh, two mice got one heart, right?
670-931.
You believe that?
Yeah.
That's all I can do, sit by Barnhill over here. He'll be throwing elbows.
He's one of them blues.
Hey, die hard. And there ain't nothing wrong with it. I mean, I'm gonna try it. It's like me and Einstein. I'll explain it. We're gonna be road runner, not road runner, sheepdog and whoever it was, you know, born and raised. And the cow did all. I said, well, you go with your back, and he will mine. Never hit bells. So as soon as the bell rings again, we're done.
Call the March edition of the Public Safety meeting to order. Start with the roll call. Ricky Murray. Here. Keith Nash. He let me know he'll be about 5 minutes late. Devin Pickard. Here. Matthew Barnhill. Here. Paul Calicut. Here. Clay Chester. Danny Clark. Here. Todd Collins. Here. Here. Steve Giannakis. Jim Herring. Here. Dusty Jordan. Here. Ron Mayberry.
Here.
Ron Puckett. We have a quorum. Yeah, you can bring it to me if it's got any names on it. First order of business is to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Ron Mayberry, seconded by Todd Collins. Any discussion on the agenda? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda's approved. Becky, you're the only name on this.
Usually I'm the only one. I'm here to just speak about the HCA proposal, the Hickman County attractions. It's just my personal opinion that it's setting a dangerous precedent. You have volunteers that run all of the county facilities. The ballparks bring in state championships that up the revenue by bringing in all these teams that pay for 5 days of hotel and gas and food, and you're not paying anybody to run that. Personally, I feel like the best thing to do would be to reestablish the Parks and Rec department and pay somebody to do that. That can cover all your ball fields, your ag pavilion, expanding on that. I think that's a better way to spend county money on a specific Parks and Rec issue.
motion to, if you've seen the minutes, they were all emailed out, just like they always are. I'll take a motion to approve those.
Motion approved.
Motion by Dusty Jordan, seconded by Matthew Barnhill. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're at the monthly report. You're sitting on the other side.
Fooled you, didn't I? EMS, we ran 321 calls in the month of January. Our collections were $59,118.96. Charges were $275,772. And that's our financial report, if you guys would like to vote on that.
We accept the financial report as stated by Mr. Livengood.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Collins, seconded by Commissioner Mayberry to accept the financial report. Go ahead and vote on that. Ricky Murray,
Yes.
Keith Nash, Devin Pickard,
Yes.
Matthew Barnhill,
Yes.
Bob Callicutt,
Yes.
Danny Clark, yes. Todd Collins,
Yes.
Wayne Thomason,
Yes.
Tim Herring,
Yes.
Dusty Jordan,
Yes.
Ron Mayberry.
Yes.
I miss anybody that's here? All present voting yes. Motion carries.
In my tenure as director, Hickman County EMS has been nominated for the Star of Life Award 3 times for Region 6. On September 10th, 2025, one of our crews was dispatched to tractor-trailer accident on Highway 50 and 100. It was an 18-wheeler versus the cliff down here below Joe's. On arrival, they found an 18-wheeler with major intrusion to the passenger compartment. The intrusion was so significant the crew could not locate the driver at first. The motor had come to rest in the passenger compartment. Members of Centerville Fire arrived on the scene and began to extricate the patient. Lifeline was called and they arrived on the scene before the patient was extricated. Once the technical rescue was completed by Centerville Fire, our crew along with Lifeline were able to access and treat the severely injured patient, providing life-saving interventions. For the outstanding response and treatment of this patient, Hickman County EMS, Centerville Fire, Hickman County Central Dispatch were nominated for the Star of Life Award. This is a prestigious award that is given for excellence in EMS technical skills. There are 8 of these awards given out each year across the state, and we are honored to receive the Region 6 Star of Life Award. I'd like to recognize Centerville Fire, Hickman County Central Dispatch, and our crew. I don't know if any of them made it or not. We had them lined up to be here, but the 911 had different ideas, I think. Supervisor Tony Estring, paramedic Patterson Hutcherson, and AMT Dawson Zervis. On May 13th, these individuals will attend a ceremony in Murfreesboro and receive their reward. I'd just like to thank them for their service to our county. We've been sweating the budget with our overtime and part-time individuals with the AES and Winter Storm Fern. It looks like we're going to squeak by without having to dip into coffers any deeper. We're at 9.23% of the budget year, and our part-time is at 67.61, and our overtime is at 58.08. So hopefully, if nothing else happens, we'll be good. I do want to report on staffing. For about 8 months, we were fully staffed, and that has come to an end. Metro, Brentwood, and other larger departments are hiring, and we're losing employees. We currently have 2 paramedic slots open and no applicants to even interview to fill those spots. I've had one paramedic come to me and tell me he just can't afford to buy a house in Hickman County, raise his family, on what he's making, and he's started, the process of applying elsewhere, to go for higher pay. If he leaves, that'll make 3 paramedics that we've lost, in the last 90 days. We just continually find ourselves in a cycle of hiring, training, and those, we get to a point of being seasoned, they move off somewhere else, and we have to start that cycle over again. I hope we can think about this issue as we're, coming into the budget process. Our employees have proven themselves time and time again. They prove themselves daily. They have proven their dedication and professionalism, as they responded to the AES explosion and also to Winter Storm Fern, as our employees, along with the Sheriff's Department's employees, spent multiple overtime shifts in a row, some up to 72 hours, helping with those events. We get calls from patients all the time thanking our employees for what they do, for their professionalism. We have a couple that called in just a few days ago and wanted to thank their angels for saving their lives out of a traffic accident, and they truly did save their lives. You know, we've cut back some of the spending that we've been doing on our employees. We no longer offer to send them to paramedic school because we just had a hard time guaranteeing the recoup on that. We'd ask them to stay 24 months, and if they stay 24 months, you know, county cover that cost. And we were just having them leave, and we were having to pay attorney fees and stuff like that to recoup that money. We just didn't feel like that was a smart move. And so we're not producing our own paramedics any longer. You think about what our crews do. You think, well, they should get the pay that the bigger departments get. But what we don't consider is our employees have critical patients for a longer transport time than any other county around here. Longer than Dixon, longer than Williamson County, much longer than what Metro does. Metro, if they have a patient for 20 minutes, that's long transport for them. Sometimes our paramedics are working with critical patients for over an hour trying to get them to a level 1 trauma center or to a higher level of care than what's provided. What we're paying right now, we're just not attracting quality talent. As I said, we don't have any paramedic applications. And when we do hire, we have to really sift who we hire, because at the rate we're paying, you know what we get. We get the ones who can't work anywhere else. And we have to be really careful, because I don't want to turn just anyone loose, treating the citizens of our county. So we have to be very, very careful in what we do. So we sift through and hope that we can find the ones that will be able to do the job that's required of them, and to have the same standards as the rest of them, as we've been given this Star of Life award. Right now, we're asking our advanced emergency medical technicians to do more than they've ever done before. The state has upped their scope of practice to where they're able to give first-line cardiac drugs and also transmit an EKG over the airways to a doctor. That's a new skill for them. They're also giving pain meds. That's a new skill for them. And the reason these things are happening is because people are having a hard time finding paramedics, and they're having enough skills of the lower levels so that the treatment can be given. And there's a few other meds that they can give that they weren't able to give. So we're asking more of them, and they're earning less. So I hope as we come into the time of budget planning and preparation, that we can consider not only EMS, but other county employees that perform vital services for our citizens. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Lappin?
I have a comment. I would like to make a suggestion that what you read about the award be read again on our monthly meeting, to get those in the notes and out for video, that this, those people.
I hope I can have
saying
the three
maybe
here
have
at
them.
that time too. I plan on having them here for this meeting, but again, they call away.
I would like to say this while we're at this point. I've been here 16 years, going on 16 years. It's been a problem since day one. All of you, should take this probably the most serious of the things that we do. There's nothing like getting a phone call from a pleading loved one that there's not an ambulance available. Please find me one. They're dying. I cannot get them to Nashville. And there's no answer. So when we do consider our budget time, our paramedics are those that do things that others can't do. We pay that high cost of insurance and everything else. We're fixing to have a huge turnover here in this room. It took me 2 or 3 years to figure that out. If I hadn't had guidance from it, I never would have realized what all this entails, because if you cut that, then it sets us back. And if we don't fix the problem, it could be a while before we do. Ladies and gentlemen, look around the room, we're not getting any younger. And we're the ones that could depend on him at any time. So I would echo what Mr. Livengood has said. Consider this, look for where that money can come from, figure out how we can do that to make sure that this department does not fail us.
Anybody else? That brings us to you, Pete.
My turn. Apologies again for being late. I did get the information in your packet today. We've been in response recovery since the 24th of January. I would like to just hit some highlights. January 19th was when we started our preparation for this storm to hit. We had already set up shelter planning, equipment staging, and coordinating with other agencies to get everything in line for this. I want to just, again, I'm just going to hit some highlights. Our initial contractor strike team operations to begin with look like about, and this is all approximate, we're looking at about $41,000 there. Materials and operational supplies were at about $10,000. Our EMS disaster coordination piece of that was about $35,000, which brought us to approximately $60,000 that was spent in January. And this does not include our force account labor, our overtime, or additional for other departments and fuel needs. All of that will be coming from our finance department. Looking into the metrics going into the February, looking at numbers, we had approximately 118 work orders set up throughout all of those. The last 7 days, the closure rate was about 4 per day, trying to get those knocked out and done. Survey sites, we done a total of 224 of those in the county. Looking at additional operational costs going into February, we're at approximately $53,000 for contract services. Rental equipment, we're looking at about $22,000. Additional materials was another $3,000. Grand total, looking at it, this is approximate number, we're looking at $157,100. That does not count overtime or additional fuel costs for other agencies that were brought in under emergency management. I would like to say all of this should be recoupable through our PA, that we did get a win. Both mayors signed, we should be able to recoup that money back into the county. And the only other thing that I'd like to bring up is lessons learned through this. mitigation piece of this is we started the grant process for the generators for EMS stations and our fire station, looking at approximate estimated cost right now is gonna be for 3 generators, it's gonna be $120,000. Will be hooked up to the gas that's already there, we don't have to work with that. The grant shows a 12% match. I'm still working with the city. City's still under the agreement that they'll do 6% of that, so we're looking at, county's responsible piece of that will be around $7,200. And we should hopefully be able to work toward getting generators for our EMS stations. So that's the biggest motivator through that. There was still a lot of challenges going through this last phase. I would like to say this, the fire departments, out of 5 fire departments, they average 700 hours of volunteer time during this storm. That averages about 3,500 hours. Team Rubicon that came in, they stayed 3 weeks. They averaged about 210 hours, man hours per week. So that brought it up to 630 hours. That's a total of 4,100 hours that we can use to the in-kind to pay the 25% match that it's gonna take for that PA money to come back in. So I'm really thinking that if we do all of our documentation the way that it's been going, that it shouldn't cost us anything. We should get returned all of this money back to us. PA right now, like I said, we're looking at $150,000, not counting the money that has been rolled over into finance due to overtime and fuel. The IA piece of this, individual assistance part, it averages about $4.75 a person, which brings us to about $120,000 that we have to meet in the county. They told us we met that, we have that number. Now the issue is that we still do not have an answer to whether we're going to receive the IA or not for individual assistance. So we're still waiting on the federal government to give us that answer. And everything else is in your packet. I just quick down, you can read over it. If you got any questions, I'll gladly try to answer them.
Anybody have a question for Mr. Phipps?
Pete, did you say 3 generators?
Yes, sir. I'm
Okay.
looking at generator for EMS Station 1, City Fire Station 1, and also EMS Station 2. Those are the 3 that I feel like the grant that we have, they'll match that, and that'll fit the criteria of the grant, and that'll help us a lot.
And then when you talked earlier about the name volunteers, and I don't know if you may be here after the meeting or what, just,
Yeah,
and I know you've
I
been,
still don't have all that.
no, that's fine, I just, whenever you get there, that'll be
Still
fine.
getting numbers to go.
Yeah, I can understand.
Anybody else? Oh,
I just want to say, we got a lot of thank yous to give out to a lot of people, but certainly Pete and Sarah, so many people throughout this event. I know there's only so many things you do to prepare. Even if you know this huge ice storm is coming, there's not a lot, And so I for one, just want to thank you guys and all your people for all you did. I know it was tough, a lot of long hours, not a lot of sleep, going hungry, all the things, but, and I also think that some of us were able to attend a meeting, and you acknowledged how that even the people in these respective portions of the county, Pleasantville, Etna, Lyles, whatever, that they are really some of the true first responders, that you couldn't have done what you did until they were able to get out. And that ain't what they do for a living, but they just did it because it was the right thing to do. So we, as bad as things can sometimes be, we are beyond blessed in this community for people who just want to serve and do the right thing. And so I appreciate what you guys did and facilitating all the things with all the different meals, Team Rubicon, what they did. Those are just some real servants. Those folks are real servants. So I know there's still a lot of work to be done, but thank you for all that you did. I think you deserve that.
We got a lot of wonderful good citizens in this county. That's for sure.
thank you. Do you have anything, Matt?
sorry I did not get the report out. We responded to, we had 1,403 calls for service last month, which is usually about our average. We've stayed between 1,100 and 1,500, somewhere through there, but we've got 1,403 last month.
Hard for people to cause trouble with roads as messed up as they were.
Yeah, we had Mike, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. We kind of assigned him and Johnny both, assigned him to Pete cutting trees, and he's actually running, Mike was running one of the highway department's boom trucks, trying to remove a lot of debris and stuff off the side of the road. So we was trying to help out as much as we could with that. We had inmate crews out working. And I think I mentioned this here a few months ago, the Methodist Church donated a bus to us that they were not going to be using anymore, so they donated to us, and I told them we could use it. Pete actually come and got that and had his saw trailer hooked to it, so we actually had the inmates in the bus going around cutting trees up and making clear some roadways out. So it worked really good, and I appreciate Pete working on that and getting that done. He called me one day and he said, "Where you at?" And I said, "I'm pulling back up the office." He said, "Stay there, I'm pulling in." And he comes pulling in the bus with the trailer behind him. It's a good setup. So our jail population, we're at 125, so we're quite a bit down from where we was. We're making some progress. As soon as people are getting sentenced, we're trying to get them moved on to the state as fast as possible. That's helping out tremendously. So we're a lot better from the 185, 190 that we was at. The courts have really been moving good here recently, so we're making some progress with that. Couple things. I know Commissioner Collins, you want to speak on this nuisance?
Whenever you're ready.
All right. If you want to go ahead and start us off with that, I'll be glad to speak on it as well. So.
Ready for that?
Well, are you through with your sheriff's report?
Anything else you want to do, Chief? Well, tell you what, yeah, we got a couple things we want to discuss. If it's all right,
The only reason I say that, Jason, is we've got those 2 resolutions
They're on
on the
there.
agenda,
Okay.
and we'll roll right into that when you
Right.
finish the sheriff's report.
Come back to you.
I don't know if anybody wants to talk about the jail. And we try to push it off because right now we're kind of in the unknown. And we don't know if we need to expand or what we got is gonna work, or we're gonna have to build a facility, or whatever the case is. And we have tried to push off our surveillance system in there as far as possible. So we're currently facing a litigation issue in the courthouse, and the camera system here, according to our attorneys, is not great. These cameras actually will skip 2 or 3 seconds and they will not capture things. The same thing is going on in the jail. We had a allegation of potential, it was an allegation of use of force. So when we watch the camera system in the jail, it doesn't capture the guy trying to attack the deputy. It captures the deputy, have to take the guy to the ground. Luckily, that deputy had a body camera on, and that portion captured where he tried to attack him. So these are some of the things that we're gonna face in the future in litigation and things like that. So we asked the company to come in and give us a quote on changing these camera systems out. So he gave us a quote for the actual sheriff's office, which we can suspend. We don't need to change that one out at this current time. But he gave us a quote for the courthouse, which you'll see on there. The courthouse is $87,500. And what that'll do is change out the retention date. So as of right now in this courthouse, we have a 5-day retention. So if something happens today and we don't hear about it 2 weeks from now, it's gone. We can't go back and get it. And y'all know in litigation, cameras can mean everything.
So I believe that this expense right here will save us millions in the future. It will combat any allegation. Like I said, the jail, to change that out, the jail alone is $120,000, and then basically, right now, our retention period for the jail is about 3 weeks. So if we don't hear about something within that 3-week period, we can't go in and capture it and save it. This is gonna move our retention period up closer to 6 months. And then we also will have the ability to start adding cameras in if we want to expand out at a later date. So they will have, different plugins for us, so we won't have to change that system back out. Also, it gives us the ability to remote access, where if I need to log in, he needs to log in, we can do it from home. And we can log into the facility and see what's going on, see what's So, happening. just like he said, so if for some strange odd reason, our jail was to be taken over, we don't know what's going on inside there. We have to get inside the jail to view the camera, to be able to come up with a plan to try to take the jail back. That's also with the courthouse. The camera system is right over in there, so if for some strange odd reason, they're having court and the judge is taken hostage or some strange reason, we can't see what's going on in there unless we access this room. That is going to combat that as well. So we will be able, and they will be viewed through our towers. So if there's ever an issue in court, it'd be immediate responses from that point in time. As it stands right now, something happens, they have whatever, a fight break out or something, somebody's gonna have to call 911 or notify one of the deputies up front. And, you know, God forbid, if something happened to one of the deputies up front, we're not gonna know about it until that 911 call comes in. So that's also gonna make immediate response, but just for litigation purposes alone, this will save us in the future, and it will combat any allegation quickly.
So the ones that, if y'all remember here a few months ago, I came to y'all and spoke about, the camera issues that we're having, and then also that there's a really good chance, because we completely redone our inmate medical this year, that there's a possibility we'll have money left over in that line item that we could possibly move to take care and fix all this. So I just wanna throw that back out there, is we may have the money there, it's already budgeted, cause when our next budget comes out, we'll be redoing it, and that line item come down, because we're not gonna need as much, but if that money's there, this is a great opportunity where we can use that and fix our problems that we have.
And we currently have 7, I think, that are not operational at this time, and they're not covered under warranty. We had an incident, about 2 years ago, where one of the inmates just leaped off the top, on his own. He thought he could go to the hospital and get out of jail. But the allegation that came out, the camera that faces over there, the allegation that came out was the sheriff threw him off the top. Luckily, the FAR camera captured it, but again, we would be having to combat that if we didn't have it over there. So, these are just some things to think about as we push forward. We wanna get these numbers to y'all as quickly as possible. And I apologize that I didn't have it together. I'm the reason why the sheriff didn't get his packet in. Y'all have any questions in regards to that camera system?
190,000 total.
Yes, sir.
Does that cover the tower and all? I know we've had problems in the past. This is gonna take care of all that.
Yes, sir. It will take care of every bit of it. This feed will actually go into the tower as well. So our tower operator will be monitoring those. They will fall in line with that. So they will monitor this during the day as well. So as people are coming and going, they see a problem, they can automatically hit the button and we can start moving.
We got a grant not long ago, right after, I don't know, I don't want to say COVID, but there was a lot done here, was there not? Did we not upgrade the camera at the time? Was that not one of the things we did? I'm not saying don't do it, just if we're at that point, we don't want the same company coming in.
Right, correct. Well, and that's one thing that we're on the verge of, is because the camera system we have now is not great. And like I said, when it skips 2 or 3 seconds, those are very vital. Because again, you can make an allegation that a deputy you know, use unwarranted force against you, when in reality, someone was trying to strike them with that camera was on that 2 or 3 second skip at that point in time.
We've had instances just trying to download, sorry, Jim, where we've had instances where we try to save and download a portion of a video, so we do have it saved, and a 5-minute video may take 45 minutes to download it and save it.
Your question was, how old is it?
How old is it?
It's roughly 20 years old. 20 years old.
It's been a problem for a while.
Yes.
Patched it several times.
And like I said, we've been trying to push this off until we can get just a little bit of clarification of what the future's gonna look like. But I think we've reached that point to where we've pushed it so much that it's time for us to get some type of corrective action.
If I'm right, this is cheaper than what we looked at when Sheriff Ward was in over this. 'Cause that was the reason we didn't get it, the price was nowhere in this range.
And one of the big things that's gonna be a huge help for the entire department is it gets both camera systems working together. So right now, we're operating on 3 completely different camera systems. The courthouse has its own camera system, the jail has its own camera system, and the sheriff's office has its own camera system. So we're getting everything, the jail and courthouse on the same system. Our offices, we're not concerned about that, we still roll with what we have on it for a while, but at least it gets everything, I guess the most important stuff, in my opinion, taken care of in on one system.
If there's not an objection, the maintenance director would like to put something in.
I like to offer the system they have in the jail right now. Currently, just every few months, we have to have cameras replaced. We're spending every 2 to 3 months, roughly $3,000 to have some cameras replaced every few months.
So the new ones be under warranty for a little while.
Yes, sir. And then they change,
DVR is like $6,000.
yes, so the DVR goes out currently, we're looking at about $6,000 to get it replaced out, but the new cameras they're gonna bring in, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, the old ones are hardwired in, and it's something, I wish I could tell you exactly, but these are more up to date and better.
Storage in the cloud type stuff.
Yes.
So it's pretty much unlimited. Instead of whatever the timeline is now, it'll be in the cloud.
Well, we've opted out of the cloud. I didn't have them put that in there, just for the fact is, that would be a reoccurring fee. And we're looking, right now, we got a 2-year left on our contract with Axon, who currently does our body cameras. We asked for a quote for our dash cameras, to put dash cameras in all of our cars. Because we're unable right now to capture if someone has an infraction, if we didn't have a dash cam. If we were stopping somebody for DUI, when we're in court, like, yeah, their failure to maintain lane, if we just had that body cam, it's just gonna show the dash of our car. So we're not capturing that infraction. So we asked Axon, what would it cost us to put dash cams in our vehicles? And it was $50,000 a year for 20 vehicles. And that's every year that we will have to pay $50,000. So we went to a private company that was trying to get into the field and said, hey, if you will work with us, we'll work with you, tell you what you need to do to fit public safety, and maybe that'll increase your business. Unfortunately, that partnership just has not worked out. They're developers. I think they think it's too expensive to move things and shift stuff around. So we're currently looking at other companies that what we currently pay for Axon right now, we can house in-house, and we can get a body camera and a dash camera cheaper than what we're currently paying Axon. So we're gonna start, hopefully next year, start pulling those off of those contracts as they expire, not renew them, and then go to in-house, and I think that's gonna save us some money in the long run as well.
Axon is fantastic with what we do. The problem is, there's no way we can afford it. We can't afford, the storage space that they're charging us. I remember what the storage was completely. If we upgraded everything, it was, $100,000 a year just for storage. And we just can't do that. So we're looking at other options of what we can do, where we can house that stuff and, let's do the best we can with what we got.
We've had conversations, you were hesitant to upgrade the camera system in the jail because we don't know what we're gonna do as far as enlarging the jail or that's inevitable. Is there any consideration for that in what you're presenting tonight, that we will be able to, is there any flexibility on what they put in? If we change the jail a little bit, will they be able to?
Yes, so the cameras that they're going to install are not hardwired, so even if I'm looking into the future, I'm thinking of more of an expansion now that our courts are starting to move fairly well. We'll know more as we hit late spring, because that's when people are gonna be out, and then we'll be able to see that population and see if we've curbed it or not. So I'm thinking more of a expansion would potentially take care of us and get us out of that plan of action zone with TCI, because that's the only reason why we're in it, is because of the overcrowding. So this camera system will be set up to where if it is an expansion, it's just plug and play. So we won't have to come back and go, well, we gotta put another 200,000 in because we gotta do a new camera system. It'll be plug and play, and I think, if I'm correct, I think we have a spot left for 24 more cameras just on this system alone. So once they're done with their completion, we have enough to plug in 24 more additional cameras, and then if we do have to add any past that 24, we just get another DVR.
Are you looking for action on this tonight?
No, we're just trying to just bring it aware and let you guys know that this is a need and we need to start tackling this problem within the next couple months.
And, yeah, and that's one thing we were wanting to, again, bring it back up, make you fully aware of where we're at, because I was very brief when I spoke about it earlier, a few months ago, but if we continue on the same trajectory we're looking at with the, not having to use all that medical money, that could be a great opportunity for us to move some money and fix this and not have to ask for more money. Y'all know I hate asking y'all for money.
One thing y'all said was, one retention rate was 6 months, the other one was different. Can you differentiate those two again? And one of them might have been the dash cams that we're not even talking about, but.
So right now, like you said, we're on 3 separate systems. So the retention rate for the jail is 3 weeks. The retention rate for the courthouse is 5 days. And then the retention rate for our office is 14 days.
But with this new,
system, the courthouse and the jail will be on a 6-month retention. So that's usually about the time if somebody's filing a complaint or a lawsuit or anything of that nature, we will get that information before that time expires.
thank you.
Commissioner Nash?
Loaded question, because you may not know the answer, but I hope you have figured it out. How much is currently in the courthouse security fund that we have in the county? Dollars?
I think it was right around 30,000.
That's the first question. Second question is, you said earlier, Sheriff, that we were down to 125-ish, from a high of
180, 185.
180. I think that you attribute a lot of that to a better flow through the court system. Do you see that decline to continue, or do you think we kind of hit where we're at? I mean, what's your gut feeling?
I think we're gonna have to look at it and see, because we had a lot of things happen at one time. The winter months have hit, that slows down a lot of stuff, what's going on. So as we start rolling into spring, those numbers are probably gonna come up, and then we'll just be monitoring how the court goes. Like I said, I mean, the judges are doing a great job, but I know it's only so much they can do. I don't know what the first circuit court day, I think Judge Lane was here from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So he's doing everything he can to move stuff a lot quicker, so we'll just have to see where we're at in the spring and summertime, and falls.
So it's kind of difficult at this point in time to
Yes,
see
sir.
if it's a trend. Going, okay.
Yes, sir.
But so is there anything that we can do other than encouraging the the judges to work longer and harder? I mean,
Yeah, tell everybody else, obey the law.
well, there we go.
But, and Judge Lane has extended,
Oh, yeah.
courts,
Well, he walked in with me tonight, so.
Yeah,
Is it, I don't think he's in here. I think he went the other way.
yeah, Judge Lane has extended courts. I mean, there's no longer just one circuit date. If his calendar empty or something cancels, there's circuit court over in Hickman County.
Yes.
I think last month, or not the storm, but before that, it was like 10 or 11 days he was over here, which was probably a record. I don't know if there's ever been that much circuit court going on. So the change up of that and not having one day is starting to catch up. But again, like the sheriff said, once we hit late spring, we'll be able to say, hey, this is gonna be our new trend, and I think that will help out a whole lot too.
And what is the permitted capacity?
110 is capacity, but they say we're at capacity at 100.
Thank you, guys.
Any more questions on the camera? Ricky, did you have something for the sheriff?
Yeah, well, we've got with us tonight, Mr. Kavish. He's the candidate for Constable District 7. And what I would like to do, since he's the only candidate, is get him appointed a little early, so maybe he could do some of his ride-arounds and get prepared for that position. I think he's probably about the best man we could ask for, and I would like to have the sheriff's input on it, and see what he thinks.
Yes, sir. Like I said, my understanding, he's running unopposed, so he'll be our constable here in a few months. And he's already completed all requirements to fill that position. So I have no complaints whatsoever. If the body would want to consider doing that, I think it'd be great. I spoke with him a little bit yesterday about we'll help him out as much as we can with once we started training, and if he wants to start doing some ride-alongs and stuff, we can kind of get him with some people and help work on getting his hours.
I'd like for him to stand up and just give a little bit of his background, so you know a little bit about him.
My name is Sean Kabish, 21 years, retired from the Army in 2000, 2021, moved here to Hickman County. One of the things that I wanted to do in retirement is give back to the community. When I was active in the Army, that was hard to do. You move every couple of years and the Army keeps you busy. So a few of the things that I've done in the county so far, had the privilege to do is be on the Pleasantville Fire Department. I've done that since 2021. I'm on the Industrial Development Board for the county. I've been doing that for a few years. My term ends in June. I'm also the head of security for Hope Church and registered armed guard for the state of Tennessee. And I was asked if I would be interested in running for constable, and thought about it for a little bit, and I think that it's a needed position. I taught with Wayne a good amount when he was constable at car accidents, things like that. But I think it's just another way that hopefully I can help serve the citizens and be of use to the county. Any questions, Devin?
I'll just reiterate, as the military folks say, he's a squared away individual. I've had the opportunity to get to know Sean, and he also works with security at our tutorial school. He has a great mind of organization and dotting all the i's and crossing all the t's, so I can't think of a better person to fill this slot to assist you guys in all that you do than Sean. So I certainly would encourage you guys to give him a thumbs up as well.
Mr. Chairman, you want me to make a motion to do the appointment tonight, or put it on the,
Well, we can't, this committee can't appoint,
can appoint?
we can't, that'll
Okay.
have to be done
That's
officially.
what I thought. But I would like to have it put on the agenda for the court meeting.
In our conversation earlier, you said that the other commissioner, Mr. Chester from your district.
I talked to him at the last meeting, and, so far, I mean, he acted like he was in favor, but he's not here tonight.
Yes, sir.
gonna comment on the, if we could do that, the ballot will not be set until March 5th. So don't get in the same situation the city got in when they swore in early. I have no problems with it, and I'll support the commissioners from District 7, but I think moving it to the county commission meeting is probably the smart thing to do.
Well, my motion would be for him to continue,
I got you,
Mr. Qualls' term.
I got you.
So he is going to, complete the current term.
The current term.
Okay, so we're gonna appoint that to fill that
I'm not-
vacancy.
I'm not trying to interfere with election, I just want to.
Fill the vacancy.
Yeah.
Fill the vacancy.
I want him to get his training in, so he'll be ready to hit the ground whenever his time comes, if it comes.
Anybody else? I'm not aware, that brings us, that's completed the sheriff's report, that brings us to old business. I'm not aware of any old business. Is anybody aware of old business? And right after old business is new business, and the first thing on new business is the resolution 2609 regarding, the nuisance law. So, where we were a while ago now?
This nuisance law was brought up in the sheriff's department to help with, and you've got it in front of you, I'm not gonna take a lot of time. Both gentlemen went over it, looked at it, it was kind of put together with their guidance. This will allow, it all started with houses, it covers a lot of things. Went through, all this is TCA coded. If you have a house in a neighborhood that keeps getting call back after call back after call back after call back, it gives the sheriff's department a leg to stand on that they can step in and take over. It puts the responsibility back on the landowner. Pretty much if they wanna keep their property and don't wanna pay any money, they better watch who they put in it. It not only deals with, it says in your drug houses, it's a business. If there's an issue with a business, if I collect leads for a living and I keep bagging them up and trashing up the neighborhood, and you don't wanna play the game that we tell them that you gotta clean your property up, they become a nuisance, and then it falls in his department. So that is what this is for. It explains all of the things in here. I think it will help him get rid of some things that our community has asked to help get rid of. So, read it, and that's pretty much it on it. Jason, you might wanna bring up something.
Yeah, I'll touch on that a little bit. It's, and we have residences in our county. I think there's one residence within I would say pretty comfortably that most everybody in here, if they've had to call the sheriff's office maybe once or twice, probably a lot of people have never called the sheriff's office. We have one residence that in a 6-month period, we had been there about 60 times. This was drug calls, disorderly calls, fight calls, pretty much anything you could think of, and we were responding constantly. So, I appreciate, Mr. Collins, when we first spoke about this, is getting some things put together so we have a little bit more we can do when we encounter issues like that. But I'll be glad to answer any questions anybody's got.
We vote on this, right, next meeting?
Yes, it'll be,
Read this, make sure you got questions, I'm sure you really wanna ask.
maybe.
On the section 2, where it specifically excludes the Girl Scouts, and I'm not putting them on the spot, but.
Different one.
That's the next one.
All right.
They show out all they want.
Well, I was gonna tell you you had the number wrong, but now I see what's going on.
Girl Scouts are a nuisance.
It's
gonna look bad when it picks up the Girl Scouts.
I might need to take a break.
That's not gonna be your campaign slogan.
I've got a question, I'm not jumping in front of anybody. You mentioned that you had a residence that you had numerous calls to. I'm all for this, and I've seen it used on businesses, what's your remedy on that resident? I'm assuming you're gonna bring the actual property owner into it. You're dealing with the renter.
So the actual property owner is gonna be who will be coming to see us. And we can work with the county attorney, getting them in court, getting them in front of a judge. Hey, this is what's going on. It may be some bad renters. I mean, there's people in here that got rental properties. But we're gonna reach out and talk to the property owner and say, hey, this is a problem. Either you can get it fixed or we'll get it fixed or we will help you get it fixed. Because it is the one residence of, I spoke with the, property owners and they're 100%, they're not bad people at all. They're trying to take care of people and they're, not understanding some of the trouble they're having on their property. And I told them, I said, we're looking at, something that you may end up being decided in the court if this continues. And actually, since we had that conversation, that has stopped, a big part of that. So it gives us something that we can use, hey, get it cleaned up or we'll be in court and we'll deal with it that way.
The stick part of the carrot and stick. Anything else on this resolution? Because like Todd said, in about 3 Mondays, we're gonna have to say yes or no to it. If you don't have a question now, look at it, that way, before we vote on it, the 4th Monday of the month, you might have a question then. The next one on the agenda is, 2611.
The Girl Scout one.
This one, it was handed out to you, it was not in the packet with the nuisance one. This one pertains to, the main thing is that there's a reoccurrence of roadblocks at the 467100 intersection up there. The people are just coming into town and misrepresenting themselves and taking up money. I'll not say anything else about it because it's the sheriff's resolution. He's asked for it, we're doing it for him, so I'll let him.
I think, Todd, if you wanna start off with that? Yeah.
This was looked at because of that. Just a few weeks ago, I went through, I was driving a school bus and they stopped me. They were there with blue buckets with the eagles on them, looks like they're a school group. And they come up and said, you wanna donate? I said, what we donating for? They said, it's for a family. I said, what family is it? I said, I know everybody here. Guy couldn't tell me and walked off. So called sheriff and about all he can do is run up there with a rag and swish it at them. This will address that. There are some things in here that might need to be added as we go along. My suggestion is till we get this passed. Now, it does go a little bit deeper and it goes down to the 3rd whereas. And it says the board further finds that door-to-door solicitation. I had a gentleman tell me the other day that somebody come by and charged his dad $6,000 to cut a tree. And then what he thought was finished was another $7,000 to get the other one. And before he stopped Dad from paying, they were up to another $21,000 hit that was fixing to be paid. This addressed the fact that we can permit anybody that comes in here and has to see the sheriff before they go door to door selling things. Storm recovery, all of this stuff that the mayor had problems with, that these people are not with us. The things that we may add later to this, once we get it passed, is those permits, those fees that would help pay for some of these cameras and different things. And the sheriff is gonna handle this. They have to see him to do this. It's not gonna put a burden on any other office. He knows who's standing there and can make the call and have it done. I suggest that you read this and look this over. It does exclude the Girl Scouts and their cookie selling. The school system really doesn't send kids out door to door anymore. It's a word of mouth through the family and Facebook, so we're not getting into that. So this is pretty much protecting our citizens of the county from some things that has just been run amok for a while. And I would encourage the sheriff to add a stiff fee for those that are coming in and selling windows and vinyl siding and redoing your driveway eventually. But anyway,
And like I said, and we're still, like I said, trying to get all this worked out, but I think it's, you know, we have so many people coming in, and there's not a process right now to, that way we can vet these people to make sure who we're dealing with, who they are. I can tell you at Williamson, we dealt with this all the time, and, you know, if you didn't have it filed with the county and you didn't have a permit, then they went on about their business. And like I said, I think it's, as many complaints as we're getting, like with the trees or people taking up money, do you have a permit? Nope. Sorry, can't be going door to door or doing this, so. Just protect our community.
Well, I would think that it's known that we do not vet them. Just the fact that we do could be a big deterrent.
Yes.
I like the aspect that you're handling it all, through your office. Mr. Nash, you had something?
Todd, this is the one that Dan did?
He had his hands on it
Yeah.
too, yes, sir.
Yeah, and so I mean, I kind of see his writing in this. So, if everybody wants to go forward with this, we can go back, we need to try to put this in a little bit more of the Hickman County format and, kind of correct just a few grammatical things in here. But I was hoping that, I think this is the one that the county attorney said that he had worked on.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, this was,
So he'll have,
Casey in a hurry the other day, so to get this for us tonight, yeah,
So-
he did, he's had this for quite some time.
yeah, so he'll have this in the doc form
Yes.
that we can,
Yes.
okay.
Dusty?
I think from what Todd said, Todd and I talked about this some time ago, the door-to-door, it's a couple of months, we're gonna see a lot of the, Irish travelers coming in, and you go and look at their tags, and they're from North Augusta, Georgia, and they come in with, they're gonna asphalt, they're gonna seal your driveway, they made up too much, they're, you know, people used to call them gypsies, but they're out of North Augusta, Georgia, and they will rip you off in a heartbeat. Just look at the tags, but according to what I'm understanding from this, it's called dispatch will take care of getting somebody to get them out of there and get, make sure they got permits and that kind of thing. I just want to, that kind of way you, well, I didn't say that about the Girl Scouts.
No, I was just, what I was smiling about, North Augusta's in South Carolina.
I know it. It's right up from Orangeburg, American Yard Products, factory, because I've been there. It's a good restaurant down there too. No, it's not. It's in Georgia, North Augusta, South Carolina, you're right. I'm sorry. I don't know my geography, but I know it's not the Girl Scouts.
We may need to take a break. Does anybody else, Ricky?
What about the school kids, I mean, selling this, a question, selling oranges and like agriculture, I don't know, it won't affect any of them.
We're tied in with a Girl Scout.
Yeah.
You guys are not going door to door, Ron. Mr. Mayberry,
They used to.
are y'all going door to door? Nobody's encouraged to do the sales like they were in the past.
There's an online store that we have an opportunity to sell through in my organization. They do, if my son or daughter was still in school, and I think this is a little bit different, but it might not be. They would walk through the neighborhood and see if you wanted to buy something, just like they walk down the hall in the school. I wondered, and it's just a wonder, there's paperwork that we have to do. And it has to be a school-approved fundraiser, it has to go through the board, this, that, and the other. I didn't know, and I'll get you to look at it, and Dan will have to okay it too, but school board-approved fundraisers be exempt, just like this other organization that I'm not gonna mention anymore.
Yes, that would be my opinion, would be 100%. So, I mean, we're not trying to punish the school or our kids or anything like that, but we're trying to just get a handle on the people, especially the people that's coming from outside the county, that we have no idea who they are.
Yes, and that was my deal with the school-approved fundraiser. It is for an identity in the county, which is different from some of these others that's going on.
Yes.
I think it's long overdue, and I agree with what
Todd, I remember, I don't know, 20-something years ago, maybe they had the stop down here and had the buckets out, and they were collecting somebody for, going to a beauty patch, they live in Columbia. And I'm like, you stop every car in Hickman County, and you don't even live here. So, I just think it's just, it was a safety reason too, it just provides peace and calm for people in Hickman County, so they know they can call somewhere and, you know, somebody's legit.
Anybody else? Mr. Chairman, you mentioned that it ought to be formatted in, the way that we usually do it. Who's gonna take care of that?
I'll take care of that, but as long as
I'm not trying to put it on you, I just.
No, I'm just looking around the room and just making sure everybody's okay with what we're doing. I'll take this and we'll fix it and we'll move forward. And if you wanna, if you feel like, if everybody, let me ask you a question. Does everybody wanna put in a caveat in there for the school system? If it is, we'll add it in.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay. That's fine. I mean,
Thank you.
I'll be happy to take care of that. I'd just rather not retype this, and if Dan's got it, it means he's got it in an editable form.
He should have.
That's what
I didn't have his version, so I had what I had.
Gotcha. Okay.
While the sheriff's up there, I don't have anything to look at because they're not written yet. He is desirous of a couple more resolutions, to put some clarity on a few issues he has. One of them is over smokeless tobacco. Smokeless tobacco is now available in the jail through the commissary. The sheriff would like to put the profit from the smokeless tobacco into a fund, much like his drug fund, and use that money, just the profit, not any of the cost of it, into a fund and use that for maintenance enhancements to the jail. That way it doesn't get burned up in the day-to-day maintenance of the jail that we're already taking care of. Does anybody have any thoughts on that? We don't have a resolution written to hand out yet. I just figured I'd give you a heads up since we're all sitting here.
We all agreed to this, I think it's something we ought to protect. We all agreed to let him do it, so whatever he needs to protect it, so.
Well, this resolution will say where the money goes. You can speak on it if you want to,
I'll speak a little bit, and Chief may want to speak on it a little bit too. So, kind of my idea in this is not to really tie our hands to just the jail, but put it as in the jail and the justice center. So, if we have that money sitting there and we need new carpet in here, we can use that money to buy new carpet. If we need to replace something in, I know we've had some concerns about the benches and stuff in here.
$190,000 worth of cameras.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of stuff that we can use that money for, and like, there's a lot of stuff that needs some upgrades. I think, if y'all remember when Bob Bass was here talking about the jail's 20 years old. But a jail, you cannot figure the same as you do any other county building. You're looking at, for every 1 year equals 3 years. So that jail's actually 60 years old now. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it's operating. So this will give us, we don't have a capital outlay budget that we do every year. This will kind of start padding some money back in that situation where we can do upgrades as need be for there and for here. Chief, anything?
This is a tool also used to bring compliance into the jail as well. 125 people over there, all they got is 24 hours to figure out how to try to get out of jail. And a lot of time it's on the taxpayer dollar. So that is one thing that we've incorporated too. Since we've incorporated that, if we have to do a small expansion on the jail, just say we have to build 4 or 5 isolation cells on there somewhere. Well, it's gonna cost anywhere between $400,000 or $500,000 just for isolation cells. Why should the taxpayers have to put that bill? It will fall back on the inmates. They're the ones who would be paying that
But not only that, we also gain compliance where the county taxpayers is no longer paying for any of their indigent packages. So what happens is, you get 40 people in a pod, well, they'll make 2 people run everything off of their books, and they'll make the county foot the bill on everything else. So it doesn't matter if they go to the hospital, because it ain't costing them nothing. It doesn't matter if they go over to the ER or they go there. It's not costing them anything. But with this program, your account has to be valid, and the only way you can get it is it has to come through your account. Well, what we've seen since we incorporated it, the hospital visits, just straight down. And you can see that based off of where we were at last year at this time on our medical, where we are this year. So it's a great compliance tool, but also we can use it to help upgrade and fix what has fallen down. I know Matt will probably tell us different. What do you spend, maybe 2 days a year over at the jail? And he'll tell you, like, there's, again, 60 years old, if you look at their terms, you gotta think of that. Like, we gotta start replacing fixtures, we're gonna have to start replacing other things. How much is one of those combination toilets over there?
We just installed 2 that were $4,000 a piece.
$4,000 a piece for one toilet, you know, and, how many times in the last month have you had clogs on the drainage?
Average one's 2.
Yeah, has it cut down any over the last 2 months?
Actually,
So, there, for a while, it was like, it seemed like it was every other day. Again, if that pod is acting rowdy, then that privilege is suspended. So do you think they're gonna wanna stuff things down the toilets and clog up the lines now? They don't want that suspended. So it's helping with the compliance issues as well. But again, we just feel if we can earmark that money to go to either the justice system and the jail, and that way we can take care of those needs when they come up. And just like the camera system, 200 grand, it'll probably build 200,000 in 2.5 years. And it's a self-sustaining program, so it's gonna pay for itself. It's not gonna cost the taxpayers anything.
When we started the money, you had to move a little bit of money around, was it $500?
No, initially I think, but we moved it around in our budget. I think we moved like 2,000 around in our budget to get it going. But from this point forward, it's all gonna pay for itself. Like, the county doesn't have to pay a dime, the taxpayers are not paying a dime. It's all self-funded.
But what we're talking about going into the account that'll be set up because of the resolution that we don't have written yet,
Strictly profit.
it is all profit.
Yes.
The costs are already, that's pure profit. And looking at your first 2 months, you and I were being very conservative that it'll make $80,000 in its first year. And that's being very, very conservative, that I've got no problem saying it. The other thing is, when you're talking about your compliance, there's booking fees. When somebody goes into your hotel, the booking fees are applied to their commissary account.
Correct.
So if they don't have the money to pay it, when grandma drops $50 off in a commissary account, it never makes it to the inmate because that comes out for the booking fees. So we're talking $80,000 to $200,000 in 2 years in the profit. We'd have to go into Dana's office to figure out what the true benefit was, it because they're paying booking. A lot of times they get out of jail still owing booking fees.
Yes.
And there's no real use in changing.
Just to put this on the table, we had probably about 15 to 20% been on the high side of compliance with people whose accounts were active and good and not in the negative. Since this program has came in, that has shot to 75 to 85%.
Somewhere there's some numbers written down, probably in Dana's office, where the money's flowing in because of this.
Yes.
That was my point, and I wanted to make sure everybody understood. Anything else on that? Again, this resolution is not written yet, but it's possible you see it at the county commission meeting. And there's one more, and do them in separate resolutions, because the sheriff has hypnotic powers, and he can convince people to just give him stuff. I don't know how aware, the audience I'm sure is not aware of it, if all y'all are. I mean, he's had a tractor trailer given to him. The tractor by one outfit, the trailer by another outfit. The other resolution would, deal with is that after he keeps that stuff a year, usually, I mean, you're loaning stuff to the highway department, to the EMA, you're loaning stuff to solid waste, but after a year, if he chooses to, he can sell that. We're gonna try to get up a resolution for him to, that money doesn't just roll into the general fund. He went out and hypnotized these people and got them to give him these assets, so when he sells them, he'll get the money, pretty much the way we do on the seized cars. What he'll do with it, that you can ask the sheriff, but I'll point something out. The first year he was sheriff, he didn't have anything to do with the budget, and there had money in there for vehicles. The budget committee in the next 2 years, and we won't this year, put any money in the sheriff's budget for vehicles. He handles that with sale of property and other things. So that's a pat on the back for him to let y'all know what's going on. Any questions or input on that?
Just to put a nice little bow on this, which I'm all fine for both of these. Who's gonna write all this? I didn't volunteer to write these.
Oh, I thought you were.
I mean, are y'all gonna take care of that, getting these written up, or what do y'all wanna try to do?
If not, we can, to get the wording right, like, so we can write it, or I'll get with Casey or somebody, and we'll get, we'll get a good draft.
I'll get with you this week, and we can sit down at Casey's computer. You've got the template, don't you? To fill in a few whereas.
Are you gonna be at work this week?
Looks like Casey just got volunteered.
Okay. As long as he's here this week, then yes. Yeah, we.
You gonna take off this week? No, you gonna be here, okay?
You just got volunteered, Casey.
I don't think the Preds have any day games coming up.
But yes, we'll get taken care of.
That's it on those two resolutions. The next, does anybody else have anything for the sheriff before we get away from him?
I don't wanna jump backwards, but I wanna say one thing on the resolution you guys are working on for the permits. About 15 years ago, we intercepted basically a theft ring, and that's how they were operating, was acting like they were going around to solicit, when basically they were pulling up, scoping out people's property and what to steal. And then so during the interview process, when I asked them, hey, why'd you choose this area? They said, oh, you don't have to have a permit, you don't have to check in with anybody, we can go in any neighborhood. And when the police come up, all we do is say, yeah, we're trying to fix a driveway, or we're trying to sell somebody asphalt. So those are good tools to keep in mind, because people do try to take advantage of folks.
The next item on the agenda is discussion with the Banana Pudding Festival, Hickman County attractions, about the ag pavilion. Most of y'all are almost as old as I am, and we've been in here for an hour and 20 minutes. I think we could probably use a short break. It's 20 after 7. Try to get back somewhere close to 7:30.